One of my favourite mobility hacks is just doing stuff little and often. It sounds a bit too simple to be, useful, but actually it's probably one of the most effective ways of stacking up reps in your mobility work, which is really the key point. It can sometimes be hard to kind of mark out time for specific mobility class or, yoga class or mobility thing or 20 minutes before you work out. But actually it's not as hard to, if you want to utilise those moments of downtime throughout the day when you're boiling the kettle, when you're waiting for somebody or something, and you're able to just kind of do a few reps, you're on the phone waiting for something to happen, you're on a Teams meeting but you've got the camera off, whatever it might be, just that opportunity to take a few moments and stack up a few more reps towards the thing that you're working on can be just a really valuable way of like getting time and reps into your body, which is, as we know with everything, like that's the best way of kind of creating change. I think there's something special that happens as well when we pick something. So that's my challenge to you today. I'm going to ask you to pick one of today's drills and I'm going to ask you to use it as your mobility drill for the week that you do little and often. And I'd like you to pick something that you're not very good at when you see me do it initially, or that feels really tight and a little bit uncomfortable. And I'd like you to see how quickly that actually changes when you just commit to doing some reps of moving it. And it might sound silly, but when things are tight, we automatically shy away from moving them. So it may be that even though you've got knowledge that you need mobility in certain areas, the fact that it feels uncomfortable will kind of put you off doing it. So I think actually just kind of going, no, I'm going to commit to just this one thing, and that becomes no setup, no equipment needed. I can pretty much just do it wherever I am, within reason. There's a couple where you might need a doorway or something to put your hands on, but within reason, not much setup. And it's just really easy, accessible, so you can just get in there, do it whenever, and you'll be amazed over the weeks how much you can actually stack up and how quickly you can make change. So it might be that you're only doing it for a certain amount of time and then you drop off because you're like, actually, no, that's I don't need that now. I'm going to work on the next big puzzle piece. So that's my little challenge for you today. So we're going to start today with the dynamic pec stretch, which is over at the rack. Is our dynamic pec stretch. So for this one, we're going to grab a doorway, because this is a doorway, and any room that you're in will have a doorway. Probably won't have a squat rack though. And we're going to do our dynamic pec stretch. So for this one, we've got a straight arm outstretched, and all we're doing is just moving this part of our arm forward, turning away from the hand, and just trying to kind of open up this region here. So just moving into that. And we're going to do 20 reps here. (16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And notice how across the set, the different feeling, like that opened up so much just in one set of 20. So imagine now multiplying that effect throughout, several sessions over the week, over the day probably. And you can imagine how that's going to have a really deep effect on the target tissues. We'll now go to the right angle position with our arm, and we'll do the same again for 20 reps. Just my thing. You'll feel this one a little bit deeper into the pec minor. Getting a good clunk out of mine. Although I think that's rep 12 and the clunk has stopped. So that's generally a good sign that we're opening some stuff up. 19 and 20. So now we're going to swap arms. So I hope you swapped arms and did the other side, because I'm not doing that bit with you. So if you didn't, pause now and get that done. This is now going to be your body weight human press, which is your next drill. So from here, we're going to lift the elbows up to roughly shoulder level, We're gonna turn our palms over until we're in the hostage position, and then we're gonna push up. We're gonna come back down the same way. We wouldn't necessarily normally do this as strict on a weighted Cuban press, but because we're doing this with mobility and control rather than load, we're gonna just come down the same way we came up. So we're just gonna roll through a good big set of those. So I feel like I'm on 6 now. I'm gonna carry on going. So in the top position, you're looking to really have your head in front of your arms. And then coming back down the same way. So this is a really good exercise to actually get your back and your shoulder muscles working a little bit more effectively. And it's going to open you up a little bit from that desk posture, forcing you to externally rotate your shoulders. If you do a sport that involves an overhead position, this is a really good one to do. Totally lost count. So I'm going to say maybe do sets of like 12 to 15 or something like that, or just something that feels actually appropriate to where you're at. You might tire earlier, in which case do smaller sets until you can do bigger sets. So yeah, that is the bodyweight Cuban press. So these are our adductor rock backs. So for this, from a kneeling position, you're going to be popping one leg out, foot on the floor, both hands are going to go down, bum's going to stay high, and you're going to rock back towards the back of the room. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you a really good stretch right down the inside thigh, right down the adductor group. And you're just using your hands to push yourself into the stretch and back out again. Again, we're just going to hit a nice big set of these. Once you get to about 15-ish, I'd say take a little break and then swap sides and then do a couple of sets if you feel so inclined as part of your little and often prescription. So this is hip open and close the gate. So for this one, we're going to stand on one leg. So if you need a bit of help with stability, grab a doorway, a sturdy piece of furniture, something of that nature. And all you're going to do is pick up the other knee. The knee's going to come out, back down again, up, and then back to its original position. So we're hitching that gate up, opening it as far as we can, and then sending it back to its original position again. And once we've done 5 on each leg, once we've done 5 on that leg even, we'll swap over. I think this is my 4th. I like this, it's a little bit of hip opening, it's a little bit of single leg balance. You'll notice how differently you shift into the balance on either side. You'll probably have one that's a little bit easier than the other. So now we've done 5 on that one. Let's see what the other one looks like. So picking that knee up, opening it out and back down again. Opening the gate, hitching the gate and closing it again. A little bit of a balance requirement exceeded there. So that's 5, I think. So 5 each side, and then just keep on swapping for as long as you've got for your little movement snack. Final drill for today's class is going to be the elephant walk. I love this exercise. It's one of my favourites, but I noticed that most people I give it to try and progress it on too far. So the idea of the elephant walk is that we're going to use something for support, and that's a really important component of it. Because what we're trying to do with this is we're trying to create real stability and comfort in the nervous system. What we tend to find is if we want to stretch in positions that are extreme or maybe might cause us problems, the body's like, well, I'm not sure I fancy that, and it won't let you into that range. What this is going to do is allow you the stability of having an external force like looking after you, so that your body's like, okay, I can explore the range comfortably because I'm not going to be overloading this tissue that hasn't necessarily been conditioned to loading. So we will use a bench, but at home you might use anything like bit of sturdy furniture, sofa, bed, whatever is to hand. Place your hands onto the implement just so that you're really nice and comfy. If it feels good, you're going to come down to your forearms. That's a really nice chill position for me. I've got a nice stretch through my lower back, but nothing too crazy. It just feels really nice and comfortable. I'm also able to bend my knees, which is really important. So just starting from a bent knee position, all I'm going to do is push my left leg as straight as feels comfortable for me. And then I'm going to slowly do the same with my right leg. And then I'm going to bring that back to bent. Straightening the left leg. Bending it again. Straightening the right leg. Bending it again. And you can kind of see from the movement of your hips, which is going to go up and down as you do this, why this is called the elephant walk. It's all about that like hip sway that is created when you stretch the hamstrings either side. So pushing your knee back to find that nice hamstring stretch, bending, opening up the other. The key with this one, I would say, is like to be chill. Like the same could be said of any mobility work, but I think especially with hamstrings, sometimes we just try and be a little bit too gung-ho with them. And actually they just need, sorry, I just got a really nice click out of my foot. It's amazing what you find, like you're doing a hamstring stretch and all of a sudden your foot and ankle are like crunch and they just feel incredible. But yeah, basically you're using the sort of parasympathetic nervous system. Like you're not kind of forcing the issue. I think I see people kind of really trying to force their hamstrings open a lot. And I think the body just responds by going, oh no, that feels unsafe and like something I don't want to do. So it just doesn't go there. Whereas actually, if we can just take some of the load off, add a little bit of stability, we can start encouraging the nervous system to load these tissues. And then it'll be a little bit easier next time we come to do like a classic hamstring stretch, because we'll know this position, because we'll be able to cope with some weight in it. So just keep on alternating legs until you run out of time for that set or inclination. I tend to kind of do sets of no more than 20, 30 at a time, and then just have a little break, then maybe go back in if you've got a little bit of time. But don't overkill it. Like stick to doing 30 seconds here, 1 minute here. Try and go with the micro bites, because that's going to be the most sustainable. It's going to be the most repeatable. It's going to be easy to just find little options to get that in. As soon as you make it a big thing and I'm going to do 5 sets of 30 and I'm going to stack up 1,000 or whatever it is, it gets too big. We want to just keep it small and repeatable and comfortable, and that's how you're going to find you make the most gains. Enjoy.